Hello, delicious people, and welcome back to another episode of Intimate Conversations with a blast from the past. As I'm going through my day today, I'm like, oh, I get to be with Simone. This is amazing. And we were talking before we started. It could have been a decade since we saw each other last, but I dare say we look just as good as we did a decade ago.
If not better.
I'd say better. Exactly. So let me read her delicious bio and we'll get away to the races here. And you can find out more about her at her name, her site, SimoneMilasas.com. So she is a gorgeous self-made millionaire, a renowned speaker, and the founder of Joy of Business, which has so many lines in it and little notes in it from when I read it way back when. She is a best-selling author and has written The Joy of Business, as I said, and Getting Out of Debt Joyfully, translated into multiple languages, and also Relationships. Are you sure you want one? Co-authored with Brendan Watt, who's also been a guest on Intimate Conversations. And that's her third book. And she constantly sees the joy of possibility and future and recognizes the prospect of possibility in every choice we make. And she's a dynamic and savvy investor, that castle in Italy and antique and possibilities in Queensland, and also El Lugar in Costa Rica. And she hosts a weekly podcast herself, the Choice, Change, and Action podcast. And it's available on iTunes. And again, her site is Simone Milasas. And we were talking about, what should we talk about? We could talk about anything. We really want to talk about relationships done different. So thank you for being on the show. And it's just a delight to see you again. Yeah.
Thank you for having me here. I love the way you just read my bio with such enthusiasm. That was brilliant. It's like, I love when other people are reading, you're like, oh yeah. So yeah, it was good.
Oh, super good. Super good. So I think the first question is just like, how the hell have you been since I saw you? Like, how's the last decade of your life been?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. What's been going on? Just first.
So much has been going on. God, my life has changed so much. I mean, yeah, I think we were saying I met you in California. I think, yeah, you were saying San Diego. I can't even remember if it was LA, San Diego, or Santa Barbara, or somewhere in California, because I used to live in Santa Barbara as well. So, and yeah, a lot has changed. It's like, I guess since I've seen you too, I entered into a relationship, which I wrote that book, Relationship, Are You Sure You Want One, with my ex, which was hysterical because we wrote it because so many people were asking us, how are you creating a relationship? Because we always seem to get on, we got on so well, we never fought, we never had a fight. And the way we were using access consciousness tools. Like we used to say, well, our relationship wouldn't be where it is if it wasn't for Gary Douglas and for Access, etc. But then we wrote the book and then we launched it in America.
Yeah.
And we had all these interviews and everything, and we broke the relationship up just as we were launching it. And our PR agent nearly had a heart attack. And we were like, don't worry about it. We've got this, because we did. It's like we still actually liked each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that, God, I've had a stepson as well, which really just, my whole world was like, I didn't plan on kids. Like I never wanted to get married or have kids. And all of a sudden, I've got this 5-year-old and, I once saw this meme, which I thought was hysterical, of this woman sitting on a couch going, you want dinner every night? Like I fed you last night. And that's how I felt. I was like, but I fed you yesterday. Are you sure you want to eat again? Like I used to be like, how many times can we give him pizza before it's considered abuse, So, but it really shook my life up and changed it a lot, which what I'm going to say is I changed the direction of my life based on what I thought it had to look like into allowing it to show up in a different way, having this, a long-term relationship and coming with a 5-year-old and everything that went with that. And then now it's like, I think we've been broken up for, I don't know, I think it's 3 or 4 years. And there's so much stuff that's been going on. I mean, with Access Consciousness, with me, it's like, I'm going to say I'm super happy, like really, really happy. And I love Facebook in the sense of, when it shows you those photos and it goes, here you were 5 years ago, here you were here. And I look at it and I go, damn, it's like, I look better. I'm happier. I'm more content. It's like, I get the sense I'm even smarter. Like it's like all of that. So I think life just keeps getting better and better and better. So yeah.
I agree. Maybe it's an access consciousness tool, and kudos to Gary Douglas and all the blessings he's made with so many of us, including me. I remember the time he met my son And he goes, do you want to be naughty or nice? And my son was like, nice. He's like, boring or something like that.
Yeah.
My son looked at me and I'm like, no, it's okay here. We can be naughty here.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah.
But that is a relationship that you create too, is one with your kids. I mean, I was telling this story the other day about how with my stepson, teaching him like etiquette, like teaching him how to be in the world, you know.
Yeah.
And my ex's sister at one point said, you know, I learned so much from watching the way you were with Nash. And we were mucking around talking about this one because we're at this restaurant the other day. And I used to say to Nash, okay, like if you're at a restaurant, what would you do? What could you do now or not do now, sort of thing? And it's like the appropriate how you be in a restaurant. I was like, but we're not, you know, I'd make sure that he knew what he was doing. But I was like, but we're not, we're at home and your dad just made this fabulous sauce that went with this meal. So what can we do? And he was like, lick our plates. And I was like, absolutely. And I was like, lick your plate, enjoy it, but just know when that's appropriate and it's not appropriate, you know. And it's like be naughty. It's like, why not? It's like, you know, what if naughty was the best thing you chose all day?
Oh, well, let me tell you, that's been very much part of my life, and grateful for the, you said you're just like happier than ever. Like, what do you think's attributed to that? For me, giving myself permission to be a hot mess when I'm a hot mess, naughty when I'm naughty, obviously appropriate and kind as a human, but not to shrink me to please others has been so freeing. What would you attribute to being happier than you've ever been?
Not dissimilar. I would say, yeah, choosing for myself. Like I was at Pilates the other day and my instructor was, I've just been away on a 9-week tour and I came home and it was like 2 a.m. in the morning by the time I actually got into my house, you know, and I came home and I was super tired. I'd come back from Europe and I looked around my house and I just burst out crying and I went, oh, and I went, Simone, go to bed, just go to sleep because you're really tired. Just go to sleep, you know, but also allowing myself to be like that. And then I woke up in the morning and I went, all right, where are we at? You know, and sort of put my hands on my body and are we good? And I realized I didn't think I was that happy to be back in Australia. Like I mean, God, I got stuck here for 2 years. So, you know, and then traveling. And then, so I've been allowing that to unravel and go, where would you like to be? And one of the things I've realized is I get to enjoy the entirety of the world. Like you mentioned the castle that I'm part owner of, El Lugar, the property in Costa Rica, and, you know, many other places that I go. Instead of making like, you know, this is, I think it's like asking for more as well, Allana, like making this my home here in Australia. But then now I have a base in Costa Rica and it's like, and I would like to, after being in Europe for so long, besides the castle, I'd actually like to have somewhere that was a base there. So to me, that's increasing my ask, increasing, you know, what it is. Like I was like, yeah, I could have a little house in Italy. That'd be great. And get to go there. And, you know, I think we stop asking for more based on we've decided, you know, we have enough. It's greedy. It's, you know, all of this sort of stuff. And it's like, that is such a lie. It's like, what if you could live the best life you could? And then my Pilates instructor said to me, because, you know, I've had, you know, I know like a lover here, right? And so I don't talk about it very often, but, you know, because it's just for me, just for fun. But she said, would you miss him? And I said, no, not really. I said, look, I do miss him. I said, but I'm never going to make my life again about not choosing something that works for me based on another person. And I don't know if that comes across as something that's like not inclusive of somebody else, but it's like, wow, my life is so amazing and so great. And I would like to follow the energy and follow the demand of what I would like next. And Europe just keeps pinging me. So it's like, well, what are we not willing to receive based on we think we have to, you know, think about this person first? It's like a question I ask is, who do you think of before you choose? What if it was you?
That's so nice.
I think that's really important. I said to my Pilates instructor the other day, I am making me the most important person in the world and in my choices. And she just looked at me and went, wow.
Yes. Yes. Freaking love it. I knew I was supposed to talk to you today because I just told a client, haven't told anybody yet, but I have, and I remember when Gary told me this too, he said, you're designed for 3 lovers. I'm like, oh no, I'm looking for the one, right?
No,
like
I'm designed for 3 lovers too.
Oh, I have 2 right now. And this is one of the first times I've ever had this and allowed myself to have it without the judgment.
Yes.
I've dabbled before, but I was ashamed. I wouldn't tell anybody. And I felt bad. And I didn't really enjoy either of them because I was not enjoying being me. But now I'm just like enjoying it. And I'm like, this is new. It took me till I'm like 52, but like, whatever. Yeah.
You're 52. I'm 52 as well. So there you go.
Awesome. Nice.
Yeah, maybe it's the 50s. Yeah. Actually, I was saying to someone the other day, I wouldn't want my teenage years for anything. I actually wouldn't want my 20s. 30s, I was really naughty and like a lot of different things went on. 40s were amazing. And I went, I honestly think my 50s are going to be like friggin' fabulous. Like, just like, I love it. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So how, so we can share with the viewers who I think we're complete sluts right now. Thanks. So anyway.
Yes, we are. And that's okay.
How did you give yourself permission? I mean, I can tell you about how I did, but I mean, it's taken me a long time to choose me, and I would dabble, and then I would guilt, self-punish. Again, I'd stand back up again. Like, it's been a process to choose me. How about you?
Yeah, look, and I think there's one thing that you said that is a really key element is not judging it. And that takes practice. Like you can say, I'm going to wake up in the morning and not judge yourself, but it's not the way it works. Like, I mean, for myself, there's one relationship with my body that I had for years and years and years. Oh my God, I judged it hideously. Like, wake up in the morning and it's like it's almost like the litany of judgment that you have. And then it was about 4 years ago, it's sort of like somewhere it got boring. It's like, I'm tired of judging my body. You know, it's like, this is boring. There's got to be something different. And what I noticed was I was judging, like, I guess like the size and shape of it. And then I stopped judging that and it started changing, like, big time. And then I started judging the aging and I went, what are you doing? It's like, you've just passed one judgment for another. And I went, Simone, you need to stop this. So I've practiced, like, it is a muscle and I've practiced. It's like, just like eliminating the judgment that I have of my body. And I'm going to say with that came so much freedom for me with everything else, like, say, with lovers. I mean, God, when we got locked down in Australia, I played on the dating apps and I definitely, became a slut out there. It's like, I just, played the game left, right, and center, thinking that was going to fulfill something. And then I realized I'm really bored. It's like, and I realized I was bored and I was choosing the dating apps. And then I was bored with what was showing up. And I was like, there's got to be something else. Like, there has to be something else. This can't be it, And I actually met some really cool people, some that are actually have become friends of mine, which is I'm grateful for. But then I went, oh, this is such hard work. And just like, and jumped off all of them. I was like, this is like a full-time job. Like,
I don't have room in my dating app. Yeah.
So then I just started asking for lovers to show up, like, I guess like you as well. And because I started looking at too, when the relationship broke up with my ex, it's like so many people went, oh, are you choosing another relationship? And I was like, I don't know. So I started looking at what would I like? And I literally wrote down, like, I put a column in this Excel spreadsheet called relationship and then one called sex, because so many people lump relationship and sex together. And I went, okay, there's aspects of relationships I love. I love, being at home, cooking a meal, glass of wine, nice music, great conversation, love that. But I have that with a lot of people. I don't necessarily have sex with them. Yes. And then I went, well, I really like sex too, but I in this 10 seconds, in this moment, I'm not so sure I would ever share a house with someone again, or not for quite a while. I'm like, I'd have to do like Downton Abbey style. It's like, you have your own bathroom and your interconnecting door. Cause I really love being in my house on my own, but I like sex. Okay. So how can I invite that into my life, but not have to do relationship in the way that I've done it before? So I think it's really exploring what you would like and what's available.
This is delicious. I'm in Wyoming. I'm in the middle of nowhere and I love it. And there's like 9 horses all around me, little bunny rabbits that come visit. I'm just so happy in nature. And I'm practicing receiving something that I've never believed, that someone would have pleasure pleasing me. And that was the end of the sentence, without me having to reciprocate or keep tabs or tit for tat or whatever. So just receiving that level has been, and also this like protector, like, I just like to provide for you. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Who am I to deserve that? So there's like these nuances connected with the sex. of a capacity to receive more than I ever have. And I love that you're also saying asking for more with sex, but also asking for more with your other castle in Italy or wherever it's going to be. How do you, because I've learned so much from Access about listening to my body, and the more I love my body, the more it just stays in shape. And I ask if it wants to exercise, and we do, or what it wants to eat, and we do. And I'm just so pleased from the years of being a model and every little like nitpicky thing I used to be with my body, even though it might have looked great according to the world, it was my point of view that it was never good enough, right? So it doesn't even really matter what it looks like. It's how do we feel? So very, very pleased with all of this. For me, the edge is receiving, like, it's actually a pleasure to give to me. Like that's still my edge, to allow someone to believe them and to let it in. So tell us more about asking for more and how you're letting yourselves have the sex, the relationship, the different homes, like just all the things that you're asking for more. How are you? How's
well,
that?
Again, I think you sort of hit the nail on the head too with about the receiving, because I don't think we're not taught to receive. Like that's not something that is, we're more so taught to have the answer, know how to look after yourself, etc. And I think people then sort of misidentify what receiving is. Then they go, oh, well, I need somebody to look after me. I mean, all the Hollywood movies, etc. I need my other half and blah, 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 or all that sort of stuff. And you don't, like, I was having a conversation with Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, the other day, and I was talking about what's sort of like entrained to us as women as well. Because I remember when my dad died, and he was such a beautiful man, and I was in the shower bawling my eyes out, and we have this like seat in the shower, and I'm sitting on the seat crying and going, and in my head I'm like, who's going to look after me now? And then I went, hang on a second, my dad hasn't looked after me in years. And I went, wow, what point of view is that? And then right now I'm going through, with my ex, I should have done it years ago, but I didn't, all the financial stuff. And we are creating this financial binding agreement with the family law court in Australia and I mean, we're playing well together, but oh my goodness, it's like pulling everything apart, because we created a lot of financial wealth together. And one of the things that came up for me was this house. I went, well, I'm buying him out of the house. And I went, oh, I'm going to own this house on my own. And I literally could hear myself going, like, are you capable of that? And then I went, hang on a second. I've been like doing everything in this house for the past 4 years on my own. And I was talking to Gary about like the entrainment we have, or this like, I guess even energetic projections that a woman needs a man. And to me, if we change that aspect, it's like then we can actually receive a man, not need a man. Do you know what I mean? There's such a big difference. If you choose something from choice, not from necessity, then you just open those doors up to receiving in such a different way. And like I said, we were never taught to receive. Like one of the first times I ever met Gary Douglas, I met him at an expo in Sydney, and I knew who he was, but I'd never met him before. And I just had this friend of mine who died. She went surfing in Bali and got bitten by a really rare mosquito and died after 3 days. And I was a mess. Like I was so angry and cranky, and, like that 4 weddings and a funeral. I wanted the world to stop and, the dogs to stop barking and just be, but I was at this expo. I'd spent $10,000 on this expo. I had to set up. I was like, the whole world was swirling around me. And Gary came along, and I got introduced to him, and he gave me a hug. And as soon as he hugged me, I sort of hugged him, one of those half-ass hugs. And then I pulled back, and he looked at me and he went, you'd be a lot better off if you're open to receiving. And I looked at him and thought, you're a crazy man. And I was like, you have no idea what's going on in my life. And he just casually said, he said, you'd be happier, you'd make more money, your business would do better, you'd have more fun, sort of thing. And I still looked at him and thought, you have no idea what's going on in my life. But that night, all I could hear was this man, Gary Douglas, saying, you'd be a lot better off if you're open to receiving. So the next day I walked into the expo, and I was still angry, I've got my hands on my hips, and I'm like, and I walked over to Gary, and he looked at me and he went, are you okay? And he was like, good morning. Can I do anything for you? And I went, yes. And I was like, what the hell did you mean by I'd be a lot better off if I was open to receiving? And he looked at me and he went, what? And I was like, you told me yesterday, that I would be a lot better off if I was open to receiving. And I said, I didn't think I was allowed to receive. I thought I was here to give. And honestly, that was my point of view, Allana. that
Yeah.
I was not here to receive. I was here to give only. And my sense is, how many of us have brought that lie? And what if that is one of the biggest lies we've ever been told, is that we're here to give and not to receive?
Yeah.
And there is so much receiving in gifting, like not this give and take program. What if we functioned more from gifting and receiving? And when you receive, I mean, you know, when you buy a meal for someone or you buy them a present, and when they truly receive it, you receive.
Yes.
It's got this flow to it. And it's like, so I went, wow, my whole life. I said, I can't tell you how many, like, you know, bottles of wine and coffees I've had discussing what is the purpose of life, you know, and like, and who have I got to help or give to? And you're telling me receive?
Mm.
I was like, wow. So my whole life since I met him, which is 21 years, I'm constantly looking at what would it take to receive more today and have no point of view about it.
Yeah. And thank you. And receiving is not just the good shit, right?
Receiving everything. Good point. Yeah.
Because I went through my 12-year custody battle, most years of it doing access consciousness, and receiving it not going the way I wanted, or motherhood not looking the way I wanted, or my son choosing to live with his dad, which I didn't want. But to receive that, integrate that, not judge me or my son. I mean, it probably would have been a 20-year custody battle had I not learned about receiving the, you know, the stuff you don't want either. So talk about, it's not just just one more orgasm. Stuff.
It's about receiving all energies. And it's the mantra of access consciousness is all of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. And I love it because it's not just like, yay, everything's great, you know, because at this expo, it was funny. There was a stand right across from me and the business I had at the time. And they were all, I can't remember what it was, but everyone was like hugging heart to heart and being all like, hey, and I just wanted to like slap them in the face because I was so angry. And they're all like, and it was this energy of like, everything's okay. And I wanted to go, no, it's not. Everything is not okay, you know? So to me, it's like, yeah, life does hold you some stuff that you got to deal with. So what if it's about, you know, all of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and be willing to receive all energies. And I mean, even if you look at the, you know, there's this story that I tell about, you know, I live across the road from the beach here in Australia, and there was one day I dove in the ocean, and I dove in the ocean and I just came up and I went, shark, you know, and then I jumped out, and then you start to do that head trip of going, is there a shark? Am I aware of a shark? You know, and you start to question yourself. And then this friend of mine who surfs for hours and hours and hours, I could see him walking down the beach with his surfboard and this look on his face. And I went, what's going on? He went, holy shit, Simone. He goes, I was just duck diving under this wave. And he went, and then as he was duck diving, this shark just came up, like, you know, right next to him going the other way. And I went, oh, and I was so happy because I went, I'm willing to receive the energy of shark. So what if we were willing to receive all of this energy? And like another really short story is I was in Gold Coast, Australia, in this really tall building, and I'm in an elevator, and that stops like halfway, you know, down the thing. And this guy gets in, and you know, when someone's energy, I was just like, whoa, what is that? And it was like this energy, I would say, of violence, rape, like that sort of, and whether he was or not, it's like, I don't know, because what I did was I went, oh, this energy, this is not actually what I would like to be in right now. And just as the doors were shutting, I put my hand out and I jumped out of the elevator. And it's like, I was aware of an energy, and so many people would like to think that all people are, you know, I don't know, loving and rainbows and unicorns, and they're not. It's like, but what if it's not about judging someone? What if it's about receiving what you are aware of with everyone, with nature, with people, with all? I mean, God, you've got 9 horses around you. You know what that's like.
Yeah.
And it's like, so what if we were open to receiving all energies and judge nothing?
This is brilliant, because to receive without judgment gives you awareness, and then don't judge that, and then choose. And that's like, you're speaking of this elegant flow, but for me, it was just like receive, judge, or judge, receive.
But not just for you. It's
like the whole thing is written with judge. And to me, just to put that down, or open my heart, or allow, or whatever word we want to use. This to me is my muscle of all that gorgeous flow. That's the light that this puts all the judgment in the way. And can I just love little Allana on the inside and just soften that and just keep the flow going is so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Talk.
that comes back to the piece about what we just spoke about before about, you know, who do you think of before you choose? Like if you're making you the most important one, then, and it's not an exclusion to anyone else. I mean, most people look at that and go, oh, I've got to make my kids important. No, if you choose for you, you actually you show your kids that they can choose for them. Yeah. Choosing for you doesn't mean excluding. Choosing for you, it has got this much bigger like space available to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm reminded of teaching Gabriel about the bucket. Like I need to fill up my bucket. Mom needs to go have a timeout. Mom needs, and then he started to go, I need to go fill up my bucket. And then he was choosing.
I love it.
Yeah. So we had our bucket plan.
Yeah.
And when I fill up my bucket, I'm a better mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So choosing us first allows us to be the best we want to be for everybody else. And then being able to receive whatever their point of view about that is. Yeah. So with this, relationships done different and choice, I forgot about the whole 10 seconds thing. I do remember or live, like my point of view could change, my truth could change, my choice could change very regularly, and not to have it be a conclusion up here, but talk to people about when you do choose a relationship done different. That doesn't mean that's the way it's going to be forever, or even for the rest of the day or the rest of the year. And how does one navigate that, communicate in a way that's honoring and create, agreements around that? Or how do you navigate?
Yeah. So the tool that you mentioned with Access is the 10-second increments. And most people go, how do you live your life in 10-second increments? Well, it's like this 10 seconds, what do I choose? This 10 seconds, what do I choose? I mean, it's funny. I was just on this meeting before coming on here, and we came up with this idea for this like branding of something. And I was like, yeah, love it. And then I was like, yeah, let's go with this. And then someone came up with something else and I went, oh, I'm over my point of view. Love that. Okay, where are we going with that? And it's like, but if you have that ability to choose and then choose again, and not get fixed in your point of view.
Yep.
So like with relationship, one of the things and one of the tools that we talk about in our book, Relationship, Are You Sure You Want One? And there's some really vulnerable stories in there. And one of the tools we talk about though is asking every day. So asking yourself, is this working for me? Right. And if you get a no, then it's not like telling your partner, this isn't working for me and blaming them or anything. It's like, ask yourself, okay, so what would need to change?
Yes.
And it could be something like, I mean, as simple as like my ex, I used to go, hey, do you think you could put your cups in the dishwasher rather than just leave them on the sink? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a request, it's an ask. And it's like, but that flirtation that you can have and like that level of manipulation that you can have with your partner as well, and that play, but not having anything be this like fixed point of view. And one of the tools that I think really holds hands with this well is what we call the 5 elements of intimacy. And that is gratitude, trust, honor, allowance, and vulnerability. And what I did was I actually had on Post-it notes in my mirror in my bathroom, I wrote down these 5 elements of intimacy, and every single night, brushing my teeth, I would sort of destroy and uncreate anywhere that I wasn't willing to be honoring of myself, vulnerable, trusting, in allowance, and have gratitude for myself. Because what I got to was this space or this place that I needed to have that with me before I could have that one with somebody else. 100%. Because then you're not relying on someone. It's not this necessity. And to me, if you're going to choose relationship or a lover or anything like that, you should come together and just be like, yes, and just and be creating something greater, not less than. 100%. Like someone said to me once, how do you know when the relationship is over? And I was like, I remember times coming home and driving in the driveway and going, damn, like he's there and I don't have space on my own, versus the many years before that, I would have gone, oh, he's there, and you're like, you know, and it's like to have that 5 elements of intimacy with you. To me, you never, ever have to need anyone again. It's about choosing someone if you choose.
Totally. Say it one more time. Gratitude, trust,
honor, allowance, and vulnerability.
Yeah. Beautiful. I don't think you know this. I started a partnering app about 2 years ago when COVID started. Become the one. And I say to find the one to keep the one, but really it's about attracting and thriving. But marketing wise, nobody likes those words, but they wanted to find and keep or what have you. But the idea being, this is the one we're looking for. This is the intimate relationship. And the people that we're attracting are really learning to find friendship and ally and bravery and connection and the conversation. We do these conscious connection calls and the deep dyads that people have, and we just say thank you. It's not about
That's really cool.
Trying to be right or dominate. And we don't even have to agree. You can think they're batshit crazy, but you just say thank you and the connection that's possible. So I'm grateful for this. I remember way back when Dain and I did a video DVD back in the days of DVDs, which is how long it's been. But talking about this intimacy. Yeah, I love it.
That's great. I love that, because I think, I mean, I don't know, the dating apps I've been on, I think they just got really, you know, misconstrued about what they started off as, and then, you know, they've gone to hookup apps and stuff like that. So it's like, it is what it is. But I love that you created that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm calling it a partnering app. So we partner with ourselves and we partner with others, and we navigate how it is we choose to do relationship or sex. And it's all about transparency and honesty and this depth of connection. I think that's where the world is going. Yeah.
Well, you know, one of the things, because one of the classes that I do is relationships done different, and it's you know, we do them online and live, etc. And it's really interesting because there's so many times when we start the class, and you know, you start a class and it's just like chaos. There's people, it's like, you know, trying to herd kittens, you know. And there's some people, I got to say, especially the women come there and they're sort of like, can you make my husband or my partner do this? And I'm like, no. You know, or women going, can you please help me find the one? And I'm like, no, you know. And there's all these different areas that they think they need to solve, like they think there's a problem and they need to solve it. And what I notice is by the time we get to the end of the class, the amount of people that are like, oh, I get to have me.
Yes.
And then from that, it's like they either realize, I don't desire a relationship, maybe I desire a couple of lovers or none, or I want to get a dog or something, or they end up finding someone because they have them and there's not this like desperate need. Like nobody likes a needy person.
No,
you know, and nobody likes to. I mean, one of the things I always say, if you want to train someone, get a puppy, not a man. It's like a man is not there to be trained. It's like, you know, get a puppy. And what if we allowed everyone to be what they were being and didn't try to change people? Invite them to change if they choose it, but not have it that as a necessity.
Right. And be an allowance. Yeah. We're both 52. So when I got to Wyoming, I was going to move to India because the app is developed with a bunch of people in India. And I thought, okay, I'm going to live in India. And I was working so hard to make India happen. And it was not, the universe was not aligned. So it was my 52nd birthday and I was all by myself. And I was watching Eat, Pray, Love because that was getting me ready for India. And I had my bottle of Prosecco and I had my filet mignon. And I just sat there and I just started crying in gratitude of like, I am so alone and not lonely. I'm like, I feel so connected to everyone I love without them being here. I'm so connected to myself and so proud of doing this, what we're talking about, the work. It's still a practice, but I was like, wow, this is a great night. It was stunning. So this work works.
I love that. Thank you, Allana. Because that's, I mean, quite often I look out there and I go, I saw this little meme with, remember Snoopy and Charlie Brown? Yeah. And they're both in bed and Charlie Brown looks at Snoopy and goes, I'm not going outside today. It's too peopley. And I was like, God, that is so me so often. I'm like, it's too peopley out there, you know. I love hanging out on my own. And it's like, and then when I do hang out with someone, I enjoy it. But I'm okay with me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just being okay to say no. There's just peoplely, but I was like, there's so many fuckheads out there. I just don't want to go out today. That's how
peopley is like the clean version. It's too peopley.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I'll use on the TV.
Everyone I work with now always goes, "Is it too peopley?" And I'm like, yeah.
I love this. Yeah. I'm so grateful to reconnect with you. I'm so delighted.
Me too.
Happy you are. I want everyone to go to your site, Simone Milasas. Did I say that right again?
Milasas, Simone Milasas.
Right, Milasas, Milasas. It'll all be in the show notes. She's alluding to books and courses, etc. And so as you move forward, besides Europe, what else is really delighting you about being you right now?
Wow. Short answer is the choices that I'm making, because I really am making a lot of different choices in different areas of my life and not judging it. And it sounds so like I don't have this big thing to say, but those little things, oh my goodness, like I love waking up, and I love waking up with my body. and going, hey, you know,
Hi. Yes.
how much fun can we have today? Like really including my body and everything as well. And just, I mean, I know if it sounds cliched or not, but it's like every day I'm just having way too much fun. And and what else is possible? Like not trying to conclude the future, like letting that unravel. Like I said, I just came home and I was like, do I actually want to be in Australia? And I'm getting yes, but not the whole year. Okay, so now what next?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for giving us all that boost of permission to choose us and to stay at a conclusion and to be in the delight of the mystery and to honor ourselves. And I love also the body. Sometimes I think it's like, it's illegal how much pleasure I have just being
Me too. Yeah, no, I agree.
So much pleasure. Yeah. So maybe in conclusion, to anyone that feels guilty around pleasure or doesn't know how to choose pleasure, like I make love with life. Like there's so much delicious energy. Like, yeah, I like sex, but it's not like I wait for genital copulation or my vibrator in order to have pleasure, right? So what would you tell us more about our pleasure?
Well, it's funny because that you say that, because yesterday I was thinking the same thing and I was like, God, it's like, because I actually, you know, I have this series coming up called the Body Series, and it's a 3-month gig, and I haven't done it before. And I'm like, people keep going, what do you want to do this for? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I just know there's an energy available that we can all be with our bodies. And it's like, and it's not about, you know, being the right shape, being the right thing. You know, yes, we can talk about movement and eating, but it's something different. And I was looking at, because we're in this right now, and I was the creation of it. And I was looking at myself, my body yesterday, and I was like that, the pleasure. It's like, even drinking like a glass of good water is pleasurable, you know. And it's like, people are like, really, she's talking about drinking water? And it's like, but it is, you know. Yes. Or one thing I became very addicted to during, you know, my, you know, lockdown in Australia was indoor plants. And I walked around yesterday and I'm like, you know, chatting to all the plants. And I was like, they're all called Buddy. They're all like, hey, Buddy, you know, and I'm calling that guy, you know. And I was like, that pleasure is huge. Now, I don't know if some people are listening going, oh my God, that sounds so boring. Or maybe someone in their 20s, I don't know. But it's like every nanosecond. Like I was even talking to someone about, I love having a shower. I love being in any form of water, like a bath or a shower. I have my own infrared sauna here. I have this big, beautiful bath. I have amazing bathrooms, you know, and I've created that, you know, I've actualized that wealth to be able to have that from nothing. Yes. And every moment is great. You know, I don't know, even from the lip gloss you put on or something, it's like, but I do get it, this presence that you have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's back to receiving, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and being happy with you and your body, because your body is the one that's like hanging out with you 24/7. So it's like, are you going to be mean to it, or are you going to actually like be like, hey, we got this. What's happening today? You know?
Oh, I so love this. And the radiance that comes through you when you speak of this, like I can feel you and your body and just everything.
Cool.
My body, we feel her all the way on the other side of the planet. So it is the energy. So thank you for inspiring me to savor it even more. Like I'll talk to the horses in my head and they'll neigh back at me. And I'm like, oh yeah, you hear me? Wow, this is amazing. The delight that's really here for us. And it's not just whatever spiritually bypass when you need to cry in the shower and you've had a horrible day, etc. We're not saying that. We're just saying there's a lot more luscious delight to receive being alive.
There is. Yeah. And you know, I'm a big sort of believer in the universe doesn't throw you anything you cannot handle. And I have definitely been through some tough times, but the tough times I have gained so much awareness. Yes. And I have become, like you said, it's like going to the gym, you know, I've become stronger. Yeah. And not stronger as in, I see some people like build these barriers up and it's like, no, it's like push the barriers down and become stronger, because then you'll actually receive greater, you'll receive more. It's just the way it works.
Yeah. The feeling for me is like opening wider and the trunk of the tree of my spine gets stronger and the roots get stronger, but I get wider. Yeah.
And calmer. Like there's this calmness, you know? Yeah.
It's almost like Neo in the Matrix, like come, like what you got, universe.
Yes. I love that. Or what is that movie where I Am Groot?
The little guy? The little thing?
No. When he said, when he says, Galaxy, Mysteries Universe of the Galaxy or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but he's like, I am Groot. And he's like, he's a tree.
Yeah, but he's also the little one, the little tree too. Groot.
Yeah. And it's like, but that's, yeah. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I bought this book on trees not long ago when I was in some national park and I saw it. And it's like, I was like, wow, trees sleep. And I started to educate myself more about, you know, trees. And I was like, wow, it's God, I mean, the earth and the trees are so willing to contribute to us. And then we rush around going, no, I've got to do this all on my own. I mean, that's, I guess, what I was really grateful for being home for a couple of years, because I started to just go,
oh, lovely. Wow.
relax.
I didn't know trees sleep. I mean, have you ever been there? I know HeartMath has technology that connects all the trees and talks to the trees, and the trees know when a solar flare is coming. Trees know when an earthquake is coming. Trees speak. Have you ever been to Dain and I in Italy? Have you ever been to that community?
No.
No, they apparently have technology that says when you come into a room and you talk to the plants, hey dude, hey you, they sing back. Like the technology allows the plants vibration to talk back at you, so you can talk to the plants, and the plants through the technology sing back to you, and you're like, oh, this is really fun.
Yeah. But they do. It's like, I mean, I actually had someone who works in a lot with plants and stuff like that, and had Monica, she's amazing, and she told me not long ago that your plants actually like it when you have sex. And it's like, and she said, doesn't matter where it is, like your plant. And I was like, I like the idea of that. It's like my plants also contributing to my sex life. And I was like, okay, I'll take that. Yeah, let's go.
I'm totally sure my cat does. She's always like, she'll get in on the action if she can, but
all right, we're going somewhere different now. No.
She jumps up on the bed. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
It's such a delight to see you again. Yeah, I would just wish you more and more joy. I look forward to the next time that we collide.
Thank you so much for having me on here, Allana.
Oh, you're welcome. And to all of you viewers and listeners, I'm sure, I don't know, we pissed you off, turned you on, inspired you. Lord knows what we've done today. Whatever it is, allow this conversation to literally change the trajectory of your life, because it can. One choice can. Allow it to take some time to reflect, go for a walk, journal, make a choice that's different than you would have otherwise. And that is just our way of loving you. And thank you for being here for another episode of Intimate Conversations.